Hi, my name's Sam Taggart, and I'm going to walk you through my morning routine today because I believe every successful person wins the morning. So this is what I do. So the very first thing I do in the morning is I make my bed. It comes from Make Your Bed. It's a book, and it talks about just having an organized home so that you can have an organized rest of your day. The next thing I do is I go outside and I do my breath work. So breathing is a way to wake yourself up, bring energy into you through oxygen. And I do what's called a somatorespiratory integration. So there's 12 steps. You can go look this up on YouTube or whatever. And I love the phase where basically it's a gratitude exercise. So you hold your hand like this and you go in and you go. This is my sacred space, and this is a space that I've set the scene, I've treated, I've blessed, I've said, hey, this is no bad energy goes into this Zen area. Before I go and step onto the rug, this is an Eastern ritual, is I really make sure I set the intention of what is my meditation, what is my morning going to look like. And so I basically take a bow, I then enter into the space, and I set the scene. So I make sure that everything's set up, it's not super cluttered and messy. I light my incense, I light my candle, just because I like smell, sense, I like the sound. I actually have a whole Bluetooth setup in my room where I can hear if I do a meditation or a musical, like just vibey sound, or if I just want complete silence. Then, to start my ritual, I hit this, I know it sounds weird, but that's what I do. And then I enter into my meditation. And this is a meditation pillow I'd highly recommend. Most men have bad, inflexible, and so they have bad hips. So it just helps you sit up in a much more power posture than just trying to sit on the ground. So meditation, it's a practice that I've done for the last 10 plus years. A lot of people are like, I don't know how to meditate, or I can't sit still, or what is it? It's like you can't be bad at meditation. So the basic explanation of meditation is just sitting and trying to slow down the mind. And the fastest way to do that is through breathing. And so just a big inhale, exhale, exhale. And there's great apps for this. I used Headspace, I've used Calm. You can go YouTube a meditation. You can go find it on Spotify. There's all sorts of different styles of meditation. Some are guided, some are more quiet, some are just sounds. So sometimes you just pick a nature sound. But if you're going to do a meditation, sometimes it's about visualizing what are you trying to accomplish in the future. Sometimes it's about just getting the mind to shut up, because so often we're just stuck in our own thoughts. And so meditation is one of the most key elements. So I usually go for a minimum of about 10 minutes and a maximum of about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the amount of time that I have in the morning. But don't do less than 10 minutes in my opinion, because it's hard for you to kind of slow down your mind those first 3-4 minutes. But if you only have 3-4 minutes, at least consistency over intensity. Then I journal. I found it's such an important practice to journal. And things that I journal about is, for example, every week I write down my top 10. My top 10 are things that I am going to accomplish in the near future or long-term future. I talk about my emotions, my goals, my visions. I talk about just what happened in the day prior or that day, like thoughts that I'm thinking about. Because I believe you can remember only so much. When you write it down, it's like your own scripture, because we read the scriptures from Christ and the apostles and stuff, but it's like, what's our scripture that we want to reference back 5 years, 10 years ago? And I have about 30, 40 of these journals that I've written over the last 10 plus years, and it's so fun to reminisce and think of how was I thinking, what were my thought processes, what were my goals back then, and just to go back and see how you've actually improved and developed, because if you're not keeping score, you're not winning. And for me, it's like, part of the human development system is being able to remember and document your legacy. Then I take time to read. And there's two types of readings for me. One is more of a spiritual reading. So I'm reading this book called Jesus is Calling. It's just a quick excerpt of each day and a spiritual thought. Then I take some time to read something that's more educational. So like This is Way of the Superior Man, or a business book, a sales book, whatever. And I'll just read for about 20 to 30 minutes. Oftentimes, people are all about audio, and I'm an Audible guy. I listen to Audible when I'm working out, going on runs, bike rides, things like that. But I like to take some time to read a physical book, underline it, and write notes in my actual notes, which I use Evernote, which is a very great note-taking tool. In the morning, it's also super important to get lots of water. Hydration is going to fuel the rest of the day. So then I go on a hike and I get into nature. And one of the things that I do on this hike is I'm very intentional about setting gratitude and doing other things I'll go over in a second. But when you're gratitude, and I say that verbally out loud, like I'm grateful for my mom, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my life, I'm grateful for my job, it brings endorphins into you. So another thing that I do on the way up on this hike is I take time to spread love. So I send a video message or a voice message to somebody that's impacted me, somebody I haven't talked to in a long time, somebody that's coming to my mind. I call in, I'm like, who do I need to send love to? And it's just been an awesome practice because people wake up to an awesome little video or a voice memo that they weren't expecting, and it makes their day. I promise, try that one. Then I arrived at this beautiful place, and here I do my affirmations. So I speak out into the mountains and I say, I am powerful! Or something cool like that. One time I was sitting here and a dude on the other lake was like, me too! It's pretty funny. Anyway, so I sit here, I think, I meditate. I might do my meditation, journaling, reading up here sometimes. Sometimes I do it in my room. But I find that this place is a place where there's no one around. It's peaceful, beautiful, and it grounds me and gets me in nature. Then I cold plunge. It's something that's so healthy for the skin, for the blood, but really it's just something uncomfortable for me. I hate cold water, so I know that if I do something that is cold, hard, and not easy for me, then I can win the day. So it's like if I'm challenging myself and saying, okay, what's uncomfortable? I'm leaning into the uncomfortable, I'm calm in the chaos. That's how you go expand your life. So one of the practices I do is I call shake the emotional tree. And what I do is as I'm walking down the mountain, is I'm sitting here kind of in a bounce where I bring on a new emotion. A lot of times we aren't familiar with emotions because we've suppressed them like anger, sadness, heartbreak, fear, shame, all those kind of emotions that we don't constantly think about and we don't like to feel. I bring it on. Why? Because I like to build a new relationship with the highest version of that emotion and practice feeling the enlightened version of it. So all you do is just kind of sit there and you think of all the moments that make you angry. You think of the moments that make you sad. You just like carry them. And a lot of times you might cry. It brings on, memories. It brings on people. And there's times where I'm literally walking down this mountain. I'm like, F you, F this guy, F this. And I'm just screaming. And there's probably people like, what the hell is going on with this guy? But it's me practicing finding where do I feel every single one of my emotions. It's definitely an interesting practice. And it's definitely something I recommend you try. Then I spend some time on creative time. Meaning I either work on things that I'm working on in my business where I'm drawing out new screens for technology pieces that we're doing or mapping out SOPs, things like that. I try not to get into working. It's thinking time. It's creative. Or I spend time writing. So I'm writing 3 books right now. So it's being able to put my thoughts or poetry or something that's going to stimulate my mind and get me thinking. And there's 2 parts of the day in my opinion. There's thinking time and creative time, and then there's managing time. But if you don't give yourself the morning to really get out all the creative in you and you get sucked into the managing time where you're like doing tasks, managing employees and departments and things like that, that's when you really get like bogged down and you don't feel like you're progressing in life. So setting aside about 30 minutes in the morning for creative writing, things like that, has been a huge game changer, moving the needle to where I've been able to write books and write podcasts and write, apps and things like that, and makes it 10 times more productive. I spend about 10 to 15 minutes planning out my day every day. The reason being is if we design out the day before the day really gets hectic, then we'll actually know what are the major battles that we need to win today that'll win the war. Because a lot of times we get sucked into what we call the whirlwind. And when we get sucked into a whirlwind, it's like, man, I had so many things I wanted to get done today, but didn't do any of them. And if we keep repeating that day after day, we're compounding a negative result. So I say, what are the 3 things that no matter what, I'm gonna get done today? I write those down. I'm also planning out my fun time, my family time, my activities, my gym time, things like that, so that I'm very meticulous on what's going on. So I have a system, I have a smart pen, it's called the Neo Pen. This actually records everything I write. It's like $150, but then I can access it from any kind of digital platform, a phone, a tablet, a computer. So when I work on plans, I'm thinking through different departments. Because I manage so many businesses, different people, things like that, I have to think through marketing for different platforms. I have to think through admin and personnel, HR, payroll, things like that. I have to think through content and what videos am I producing, what this. I have to think through the sales and the pipeline and the people that I'm selling and the current customers and how am I delivering to them. So I'm thinking through different departments throughout my day so that I make sure I maximize and I'm not leaving anything out. So it's super important to get a good workout in every morning. I don't like working out later in the afternoon or the evening, because a lot of times you make an excuse and your brain gets fatigued throughout all the chaos of the day that you're gonna come up with a way to renegotiate how you don't need to get a workout in today. So if I knock it out in the morning, I know it's done, I know I don't have to worry about it, and it's about that consistency. Why I love a home gym is simply because if it's like midnight, if it's in the afternoon, if it's in the morning, if it's 5 minutes or 30 minutes, I don't have to drive 15 minutes, work out for 10 minutes, then drive 15 minutes back if I need to get a quick workout in. My job is to make sure I get a workout in every single day, no matter what. So it's super important that you don't get hard on yourself on the morning routine. I travel so much, so what I've done is I've created what's called an elastic habit. It comes from the same author that wrote The Mini Habit. So what that means is having elasticity in your morning routine is vital. So what I've done is a 20-minute version called my Mini, a 60-minute version called my Plus, and then an elite version that's 2 hours. And that's not including the workout. So why I do that is because if I'm on the go or I'm traveling or I wake up late or something happens, I know no matter what I can get my Mini Habit in. I always can find 20 minutes, wake up 20 minutes early, have 20 minutes to get that in. And I do a very minimal version of everything. If I need to have 2 hours and I have a full morning that I know I woke up early, I'm in my element, I can get all of my morning routine in plus a workout. So give yourself some flexibility, map out your morning routine intentionally with a Mini Plus and elite version. So every successful person, it's like, hey, did you do this every morning? No, I'd be lying if I told you that like 100% of the time I'm perfect. But my goal is to just say, these are the things that I prioritize because I know the value that they bring me. I know they make me more productive, spiritually grounded, more connected, more like in my own element, to feeling like I'm in charge instead of the day is in charge of me. So win the morning, win the day. Again, Sam Taggart here, and if you got some value out of this video, hit the subscribe button. Here to help you guys, and go check out some more of our videos. And I'd love to hear your feedback. If you just put in the comments and say, this is what I do in the morning, or these are things that I contribute, because everyone has a customized morning routine. What I do doesn't mean it needs to resonate with you. You might find things that land better for you, that might fit your morning, and go and apply those things. And we'd love to hear your feedback and comments on what you guys do to be successful.